folks, welcome out there. Great day. I hope you're having a great day no matter what time you're tuning in to watch us. We're glad to have you with us this afternoon. I'm Ernie Roberts. I'm your host for Mathline. And you know what's going on with Mathline today? My goodness, it's specialized segments. Even more, my goodnesses, it is summer school time. It's great. So we're glad you're with us. We're going to have a little bit of laid back fun today. We always focus on a topic, do some practice, do some drilling. You get some paper, get pencil, and definitely I think you might want a calculator today. And let's sit back and relax and let's see some good old mathematics today. All right, what are we talking about today, guys? Signed numbers in the real world. Ooh, applications it sounds like here on our Mathline Summer School show today. So again, like I said, get those calculators because I think the numbers are going to get kind of big at times. But that's okay. We can handle them, right? Yes, you're watching Mathline, of course. So let's see what our first problem is going to be about. We got Sonia working 8 hours at $38.50 an hour. I like that pay rate. I think we need to talk out here. Anyway, I digress a little bit. Her deductions, they total out $52.50. All right. What amount was her net pay for the period? All right. So things are going on here. We're going to be looking at, obviously, pay is a positive experience. So we're looking at 8 hours working in a positive fashion. We're also looking at $38.50 as being a positive. Deduction will go into a negative. Now, that's a one-time set. That's all of her deductions totaled out. So we're not worrying about, do we have to multiply that times 8? Well, if we did, guess what? We would be in the negative category. It would not be worth our paying or working for sure. So let's see how we're going to set this one up. First of all, it's very straightforward, pretty simple. We're going to figure out what is her income, what has she earned, and that would be 8 times the $38.50. And I'm going to put a parenthesis around it because that's multiplication. All right, everybody good? Then we are going to deduct a one-time, and that's a subtraction, remember we said. And something that looks like this, all right? So it's almost like a little order of operations moment here. You're going to multiply first, then you're going to subtract the deductions, all right? One thing I did want to make sure we understand, we are not taking $38.50 minus $52.50 and then coming up, because again, that would give her negative pay, and I think she would need to walk off the job pretty quick, all right? No, it would not happen. This is how it works, all right? So let's do some calculator moments because those are rather big numbers. I wouldn't do that in my head, and I wouldn't ask you all either. So let's take that $38.50, and we don't have to put a zero on there, but you understand what we got. And let's multiply it times 8 and see what we have. I always like to know how much did you actually make. $308. So let's put that one down here. We got 308. That's dollars. And we're going to subtract that $52.50. All right. And again, let's go to the calculator one more time and finish it off here in one step. And keep your answer. That's fine. Just go ahead and hit subtract, and it's going to remember 308 for you. That's a pretty nice deal on this thing. And now we're going to subtract 52 and a half. By the way, you could have done this to begin with all in one fell swoop, but I wanted you to see what her total amount was, so we didn't just get to the net. And our net looks like it's about, yes, $255.50. That would be what finally comes home in the paycheck, all right? So, yeah, real world stuff. Always when you're in a deduction or you're paying out, you're in a subtract setting with your money. If you're losing money, it's negative. If you are gaining, it's positive. If you're earning, that's always the good stuff, right? So let's talk about Miriam here, all right? Miriam is a borrower. She has borrowed 30, so she's going to owe that. So let's call this a negative moment, all right? And some of you say, well, could we start with a positive? You could. If you're looking at it from her brother's standpoint, actually, it's hard to say whose standpoint we're looking at it. We're going to say she's in debt to her brother, all right? Minus 30 to start off with. But she has paid, she's paid back. We'll call those payments, taking her out of debt. She's paid $8, okay? Twice an amount of $8, all right? Then she goes and borrows 10 more. So, yeah, he's in the hole. She's got the money, all right? So, yeah, we're going to talk about it in that respect, all right? So, her brother's in the hole, $30. Oh, my goodness, 10 more? You know what? My advice would be her brother needs to quit loaning her money until she pays off one thing. But that's not part of the question, is it? Let's see what happens here. We are going to go right here in the center. We're going to multiply 2 times 8. We're going to go there. And so how much more is she in debt? Oh, she's still in debt quite a bit, I believe. Plus 16. And we're going to subtract that 10. So it looks like, Miriam, you still owe your brother $24. You are still in debt. So it's a negative 20. So she is $24 in debt still, which basically means she owes him and he's going to be waiting for it. So all the way around, it is a negative because he's less the money and she still owes it. So wow, it's kind of a bad situation. But there's another place where we put our negative values. And again, that is a negative 24, and it is dollars in debt. All right. Any questions with that one out there, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully that made it pretty easy. You get the idea. We are looking at some real world situations today. Let's take a look at our next problem. We've got Ed taking 8 weeks of Weight Watchers. My goodness, for Ed. Show that, all right, this is collectively. This is not necessarily week by week here. He lost 2.5 pounds twice. That means 2 weeks. He gained 1.5 pounds or 1.5 pounds twice. That's 2 weeks. And then on the other 4 weeks, he lost 3 pounds. All right, so we're looking at this whole thing as almost like a weighted average, so to speak, because now what are we looking for? His average weekly weight loss. Oh my goodness, that's kind of crazy. So here's the story. Here's the story. This one is kind of crazy. We're going to call losing weight a negative, all right? Although most of us are saying that's a positive. We like to do that. But we're going to still call it a negative, all right? And gaining weight will be our positive. So let's talk about it here. We've got a negative 2.5, 2.5. Did happen twice. So we'll put a 2 there, all right? Everybody good so far? That was easy, wasn't it? He gained, so we're going to go a plus here. Well, not only that, we're just going to keep moving forward because, yeah, it's going to be 1.5 pounds. That's 1.5. And that happened twice. So far, so good. Where do we go from here? Oh, 4 times we lost 3 pounds. Had good weeks there, it looks like. So that's going to be, looks like, how about it? You want to put we can put 4 times 4 plus, let's put a 4 and a negative 3 for our loss. Okay, so lost pound 2 times, gained 2 times, lost 3 pounds 4 times. Wow. Okay, everybody good? All right, so the question is now, oh, we got one more thing. Why do we want to divide by 8? Because we want to see what the average weekly weight loss was. All right, everybody good on that reading? So let's go back through. This set it up, but this thing, the average weekly weight loss, I'm kind of giving you a hint. It looks like, and he's going to be losing. He's going to be on the loss side of this. So let's see what happens. We have multiplication. Can we do that in our heads? Can we multiply 2.5 times 2, get to 5? We're going to try. I'm going to put it out here. And by the way, it's a negative 5 because, yes, a negative times you got it. Negative times a positive gives you a negative. How about this? 1.5. We'll try that again. 1.5 going twice. That's going to give us plus 3. So he picked up a little bit of that weight back. Then he got serious, it looks like. And we have a negative 12 for the loss there. And so you say, Ernie, could we just put minus 12? Certainly. You could have done that. And in the end, we're going to divide those results by, you got it, 8. So what do we see here? What's our story? Oh, we've got to add and then divide by 8. That's pretty easy. Remember, this is like a little parenthesis up here in the old numerators. This is another kind of those order of operations shows here. So let's see what we've got. Everybody good and ready to go? Wow, that one's pretty easy. Negative 5 plus 3, we get a negative 2. Add negative 12 to that. Looks like we've got negative 14. And we're going to divide that by 8. We're going to divide that 8 ways. And you know what? We can figure that out, can't we? We can do a little reducing. That's like a negative 7 over 4. And you know what? That's negative 1 and 3/4 pounds. That was his average weight loss per week, okay? So again, what are we doing there? Scratch your head on that one's head, folks. And hopefully you got the right answer back there at home. Again, what we did, we had to figure out collective weights. Add all the 8. Now we could have gone a negative 2.5 plus negative 2.5, but notice what we did. We multiply. Makes it easier, right? We could have added 1.5 plus 1.5. Multiply by 2 makes it easier. And definitely here, go ahead and multiply them out. Then we can add up all those. There are 8 weeks total there, you see, and we divide it by 8, and life is good. We're in the right place at the right time, and looks like Ed's having a pretty successful weight loss career there, all right? So there's a nice practical application, and that's one of those where we want to be in the minus, all right? You're trying to lose weight, and usually that's what happens when you go into a weight loss program, right? Everybody good on that? Now, let's take another look down into the real world here. We're going to talk about the Ohio River. And this time, even though being above flood stage is bad news, we're going to call it a positive, all right, because that's where we are. So here we have it. We start at 4 feet. We're going to go positive. It fell. That sounds like a negative type thing, right? Fell 2 feet. So we'll call it a subtract. We could put plus and negative, but I'm just going to go subtract. How's that? Does everybody like that? I do too. All right, now, we're going to drop another 1/4 foot. And finally, we drop 3 more feet. Now, did we leave anything out? That's always one of those things there. It looks like we did, didn't we? Let's see. We got 4. We've got -2. We have a rising 1/2 foot in there that we've got to do. Now, let's make sure we got everything. And by the way, that's okay. Tack it on at the very end. It's just a story, okay? So we started at 4, we subtracted 2, we subtracted 4. Then we picked up a little bit. They got some rain, I guess, and then we finally had a good drop off for the final tally here. So again, how many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got them 5 here. Now, let's play it together. What I would do, I would probably just work this thing through. How about it? We got 2. Pick them up however you want to. Put all the negatives together. How about that? Does that sound good? Put all the falling together. Put your rises together. So let's see. I've got 4. It was at already above flood stage. And then we got 4.5. So I'm going to put those together. That's going to give me 4.5 feet that we had above flood stage throughout this duration. We are going to lose, it looks like, 5.25. Is everybody good on that? Because we have -2, -3. And we lost a 1/4 foot. All right. So there's a -5.25. Now notice what's going on here. That negative is, so we're going to be below flood stage. That's a good thing. That's definitely one to look at. But somebody said, well, I could just play that to 2, and then I'm at 1. You get the idea. But let's play it out, what I'm doing here. All right. So put it off here to the side. Let's do a little fraction action. How about it? 5.25. We're going to -4.5. That one should be almost something you can do in your head, but I know a lot of folks struggle with these things. So let's do what we need to do. You know what we need to do on this? I am going to make common denominators happen. That's what we got to do. So this is going to be 4 2/4. Up here I've got 5 1/4. Folks, I can't subtract 2 from 1, can I? So let's borrow. Let's take 1 off that 5, make it a 4. And you know what's going to happen? We're going to split that 1 that we borrowed 4 ways. And we're going to tack it on with that 1 that we have here, which gives us 5. So what do we got here? It looks like we've got, let me rewrite it here because it's getting a little messy. How about it? 4 5/4. And we're going to subtract 4 2/4. And dear friends, that's pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah. And we are at 3/4. Now, my question is, what kind of 3/4 do we have? We're not worrying about the signs and all our little tacky work here. But over here, we are going to end up with a -3/4, which means what? Below flood stage, 3/4 feet below flood stage, and hopefully it will continue to drop because that's still a little bit close, too close for comfort there, all right? So what does that mean? Again, it means 3/4 foot below the flood stage. And there is your final resting place. So we worked through this a little bit. Fractions are your friends, right? It works still the same way. You just got to remember who was larger here. The -5 1/4 has the bigger absolute value, so that's why the negative sign won out. So, and it's good news for those people who are around the river, all right, that it's below flood stage at this point. So there you have it, another little practical application with our sign numbers, positive, negative, and a little fraction action there too. All right, how about stock market? Let's see what George is doing here. George lost $250 in the stock market 3 days in a row. Boy, George, that's a rough, that's rough 3 days. But you know something about the stock market? There's a lot of volatility in this thing. So he comes right back and said, hey, I'll stick with it. And he gained 400 on the next 2 days. What's his final status after 5 days? Well, some of you are going like, this sounds like we could figure this out. Absolutely. We could write them all up. Negative 250 for a loss, another negative 250, another negative 250, and then plus 400, plus 400. That's a lot of minusing and plussing going on there, all right? So how about we do this? Let's take that negative 150. It happened how many? 3 times. Nod with me, you got it. Then life got better. We did 400 to the good, a positive for 2 days. That is going to be his final status after the 5 days. Now this was 3 days in a row. He stuck it out, all right? So let's see, I believe we got 250 there. Am I right, guys? Yeah, this would be 250 there. I was giving him a break. Can't give a break when it's the reality. The reality is 250. So some of you are going, well, that was a nice little smoke and mirrors magic moment. Yes, it was. So what have we got here? That was how much he lost. But what did he gain? 400 times 2, we're back up to 800. So look, he's going to win out. He's going to be okay in this in terms of money gain or loss. He's going to gain some. How much did he gain? Subtract it out. I think you can probably think about your money there, right? $800 minus $750. He is going to be $50 ahead, we'll say. We don't know how much he had to begin with. We know that was just the gain or the loss. So he comes out ahead at the end of the 5 days, end of that week, I guess, $50. Any questions out there, folks? There's another way we look at, and you look at those stock market results, they also make fractions out of them a lot of times, but they're going to tell you how much went up, how much went down, you know, and that's the plus and that's the minus. So if the stock fell, it's a minus. If the stock rises, it's a nice little plus, okay? And that's how you read the stock market report also. And George, hang in there, buddy. Things will be good. Things will be good. All right, if you wait, things happen. Now, another area that we all love, football. How about a football situation? Wow. Football team made 3 yards on its first series of downs. Not very good. Not very good start there, all right? 3 yards. Because how many you have to get a first down? You got to get 10. So we know this didn't work. But things got worse. Things got worse. Oh, my goodness. The offense lost 25 yards on the second series. I wonder if there was a penalty or two probably thrown in there. Gained 20 and lost 5 on the third series. Oh, my goodness. So mixed in along there. They were doing pretty well, and then all of a sudden they lost 5 yards, and it looks like somehow it just dead-ended on them. So let's see what that all amounts to. We start out with a 3-yard offense, which was not very good. We then lost what? 25. Had a little bit of a good run. We picked up 20, and then it seemed like we lost 5 again. Wow. So what's the total offense at this point? Not very good, is it? This is where you start thinking, do we need a new offensive coordinator? What I would do, I would take your positive parts, put them together. We can do this. And that's going to give us 23. And put your negatives together. And that looks like a minus 30. Let's make sure we did all those right. We got 23, good stuff, minus 30 on the not so good stuff, all right? Now, I want to work it 2 ways. What I wanted to do is show you that we can put all the positives together and all the negatives and just subtract. And obviously, you got it. Absolute value is less on the 23, so we're going to go with the negative sign, right? So it's a 7 for the result when the difference is there, and it's a negative 7 just because of the positioning here, all right? So we want to make sure that negative 7 goes in there. Now my question is, what if we decided we wanted to break it up? Well, we'll do that, and then we'll do this. Will we get the same answer? We should, because it's an addition and subtraction situation, all right? And as long as we have we can change everything in addition, it's a left to right type situation. There's no parentheses in this game, all right? So we have, first of all, we've got this, 3 minus 25, which gives us a what? Negative 22, not very good. Over here we have what? A positive 15, and you know, we're still going to subtract. And look what happens. We get negative 7. So we got a negative 7 this way. We got a negative 7 that way. What if we just went, okay, how about it? Let's follow the game as it went. 3 minus 25. Okay, we're at negative 22. Gain 20. Ooh. Now we're just at negative 2, aren't we? And then, oh, we lost 5 more. We're back at where? Negative 7. So your numbers work differently in the way we worked through the problem, but what happened in the end? You got the same answer, negative 7. That's kind of the beauty of that. So I hope when you go to the football game, you don't have to watch a team that's struggling that much that ends up with a minus 7. That's kind of, that's a little scary, a little sad, isn't it? So, but anyway, that's another application where we hear minus yards rushing, minus yards, surely not passing, right? Usually they're always positive. But sometimes you'll have that negative yards rushing, and usually it doesn't happen at the very end of the game. You get something fixed and things go better, unless you're just playing a really, really stout defense. But I digress on the football analogies, all right? Let's take a look at Max and his bank account here. Y'all ready to do a little math? And definitely, I think we'll play with a calculator here on this round. So let's talk about it. Max, oh, we know his starting balance this time, whereas we didn't know George's stock market situation. But Max had a bank account balance of, got it, positive, good stuff, Max. Again, I'd like my bank account to look that good. I digress a little bit. Now, what happens? We got to pay some things out. It's not going to look this good for long. Thank you, Max. Make me feel a little bit better. Minus that 125. It's a payment. It comes out of the bank account, right? So it's a minus. Let's go also with a minus 305. And one more, 750. Now, 4 numbers here we got to work with. And again, if you're keeping a bank book, and a lot of you that watch this show, I know you do, keep your checkbook. You take care of it. You probably went, okay, I got a result here. Now I use that result. I subtract 305. I got another one. And then I'll subtract 750 from that. And it will work. It will give you the number you're supposed to, unless you make a careless mistake. Now, yeah, you're doing 3 subtractions, right? Everybody see that? In other words, you just work the thing left to right. Now, another thing we can do is take a note, and I'm going to use this approach. I see 1, 2, 3 of these things that are negatives. I'm going to put them all together. We're going to look at all of those. They're all my payments. Take them all in one lump, and then I'm going to subtract them from 2,050 and 45 cents. All right, that's what we can do. So let's gear to our calculators. I told you probably want to use them sometime. Let's go for it. Here we are. How about it? 125, and we'll add up our expenses. 305. This is also what you do when you're making a budget, folks. You add up all your expenses and hope that they will equal out your income, or be better, actually. Nope, you want your income to be better, right? You don't want to be in the hole. Oh, some of us live to go in debt. I know. That's another story, isn't it? Another show. All right, let's see. We've got $1,180 in expenses, all right? So we've got this $2,050, and we're going to subtract $1,180. Now, again, this is just like positives and negatives. It's sign numbers in. We got negatives going here for the payments. We got a positive for the amount we had in the bank. So now we're ready to do one more subtraction. And again, notice we're going to stay positive because the positive is bigger than the negative here. So let's go and see what we can do with this thing. How about it? 2050 or 2050. And we got the 45 cents. Boy, I wish he hadn't had the 45. Yeah, we'll be fine. We're good on time. And we're going to subtract 1180. And that's going to give us a $870.45 there, all right? And question is, if we had worked down it piece by piece, would we still end up at $870.45? Yes, we would, all right? It would just be, again, that's how we would do it. We balance it page by page, check by check on your bank ledger, okay? And folks, there's another example of using those positives and negatives in our real world out there. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed the show today. Hopefully you've got some money to stay in positive. You've got good things going your way, the positives and all that, the negatives, they balance out. Sometimes they do. And if they don't, you got the rules, right, on how to do it with all your Mathline moments with signed numbers. You know what? We're going to see you again next time.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage St. Paul.
I was speechless.
My dad is smiling somewhere.
I've never held a watch like this in my hand.
What? You're kidding.
Which values went up, down, or stayed the same? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow.
Monday at 8 p.m.
I think that public television is certainly among the